What's going on, legends? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm bringing you guys the mission guide for Tier 4 of the Crown faction here in Season 2. This one does consist of 7 total missions. Out of the first 6, you will need to complete 5 of them, or to unlock that final one, complete that, and you will unlock Tier 5 of the Crown faction. Before we dive into it, if you guys do enjoy this content anytime or find this video helpful in any way, make sure to show support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Go ahead and throw an easy goal of 150 likes on today's video, as well as if you guys like to find your back to the channel for more Call of Duty content, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button, onto that notification bell so we don't miss you in future videos. Alright, so first up, we have Flyboy. This one is going to be a 3 parts, and it is a little bit on the challenging end. Part 1's asking us to kill 14 enemies from a helicopter in one deployment. Now, the first step is getting a hold of the light helo, which you guys will want to locate the second you spawn in, as it is a hot commodity and a ton of people are going to want to be going for it. You're going to want to get to that helicopter as quickly as possible. Jump in your nearest vehicle, head to the helicopter. Once you guys are able to get your hands on the helicopter, you're pretty much set up for this mission. Now, as I said before, you do just need to eliminate 14 AI, and that's all that's required in that single deployment. So you guys should be able to fly around the map. You'll be able to get close enough if you're using an assault rifle. I definitely recommend a sniper, as that can be useful from shooting them from pretty high up, and you are shooting bots, so they're not going to move a ton, especially if they're not already aggroed. So you guys are just going to want to fly around the map looking for the tier 1s, as they're the easiest ones to take out, and even flying close to a gas station in order to refuel could potentially give you half of these eliminations pretty quickly. So you guys are just going to want to fly around the map looking for those tier 1s, eliminating enemies, and once you're able to eliminate 14, Part 1 will be complete. Now, Part 2 is asking us to kill 3 riot shield enemies from a helicopter. Now, there's a couple ways you guys could choose to do this. I think the easiest way to do it is to come equipped with some drill charges. Now, you're going to obviously want to visit a resupply location or buy enough munitions boxes to be able to throw them down. Make sure you stow the drill charge, grab your, more drill charges, stow those, throw another one down, and kind of just make sure you rack up quite a few. Have maybe 8 to 10 drill charges in your backpack just in case. Then you guys are going to want to get into that helicopter. You guys can essentially do this alongside Part 1, but you're going to need someone to pilot the helicopter who is essentially pretty decent at flying it, as they're going to need to fly you down pretty close to a stronghold location. Now, at this point, once they get close enough, you're just going to want to throw the drill charges on the outside walls of the stronghold, which should then eliminate the enemies inside it, a couple of which should be riot shielders. Now, within a single stronghold, you guys should get at least 1 riot shielder, in most cases 2. You guys are just going to want to throw the drill charges on the outside walls until you guys get the eliminations, and you guys should see some progress as you eliminate a riot shielder. Move to a couple of different stronghold locations, throw the drill charges on the outside, continue this process, and you guys should be able to knock out 3 fairly quickly after going to at least 2, if not 3 stronghold locations. Once you guys are able to get the 3 riot shielders eliminated, this part will be complete. Now, Part 3 is asking us to kill 5 operators from a helicopter. Now, this can definitely be the most challenging. It can be very easy if you guys are able to spot opponents, maybe they get down by AI, if they're in a gunfight with another team, you see anyone that's down, that would be your chance to capitalize on a free elimination, as you can then finish them off regardless if you are the one that downed them. You guys should get 1 on your progress. Another good strategy for this is having someone to pilot the helicopter who's a decent flyer, so that way obviously you aren't eliminated really easily or they crash into anything. And then you guys do pull out a joker and you guys are able to then lock onto vehicles. Honestly, if you get lucky enough, you could lock onto a vehicle, and if the players don't get out or they don't get far enough and the vehicle explodes, you could easily get 3 eliminations in a single shot, which would obviously knock out a majority of this challenge pretty quickly. Now, when I was choosing to do this, I ran a sniper rifle and I used an RPG and an AR, kind of used a couple of different methods. With the AR, you do need to be close enough, but as long as you have good accuracy, you can eliminate people pretty quickly. And I found it was pretty efficient, honestly, to run an RPG and just basically be a living AC-130. So have your teammate fly over where the enemy locations is, just basically keep raining the RPGs on the enemies down below you, and they almost will stand next to no chance. Obviously, if they do have the perks, they may have a little bit better of a chance, but more than likely you guys should be able to get some eliminations just by pretty much spamming them with RPGs. Regardless, if it takes getting close to them to shoot them with an AR, now whether or not you have to get close enough to shoot them with an AR, you decide to snipe them, or you just spam RPGs like I did, once you guys are able to get 5 eliminations on operators, which going to exfils can be extremely helpful, waiting for people to try to exfil. Maybe you go to a location where you sit on the hill. As long as you're sitting in the helicopter doesn't have to be flying or moving. You guys get those eliminations. You guys will be able to make this progress. But eliminate those 5 and this mission will be complete. Next up, we have the Deadliest Sin. This one's only going to be 1-parter, and it's asking us to sell 20 unique valuables in 1 deployment. Now, this is essentially just 20 unique items that could be sold at the buy stations. Now, obviously, they have all different values. It could be a watch. It could be a light bulb. I mean, it could be a comic book. You're going to want to pick up each individual item that you come across. And most of these items are things that you probably never pick up. Like, you're not picking up screwdrivers too often. You're not picking up comic books or watches or batteries or any of these things too often, unless you're trying to obviously do a mission. You guys are going to want to pick up individual items. Now, there is much more than the 20 items that it's asking, so you guys shouldn't have too many issues just making sure that each of your individual backpack slots has something different in it. If you guys have a large backpack, obviously it's easier because you can put 9 items in it, take those over to that buy station, sell all 9 of those, then make sure you guys fill it up with 9 new items that you didn't just sell. Now, the one thing about this mission is it does say 1 deployment. I don't know if it's going to get fixed in the future or if it's already been fixed. But at the time that I did this mission, it did not need to be 1 deployment. I was actually able to sell items in 1 deployment, go into the next, and the progress stayed. I don't think it's intentional. I don't know if it's something that's going to get fixed. But for me, at the time, it did not require it to be in the same deployment. So you guys should be able to wipe this out pretty quickly, especially if it's not requiring that 1 deployment. Once you guys are able to get a hold of 20 unique items, take them over to a buy station and sell them, this mission will be complete. Next up, we have Predator. Now, this is actually one of the harder missions in this tier. It is 3 parts. Part 1 is asking us to infill solo without any weapons. So in order to do this, you need to make sure you remove your primary and secondary weapon, which means you're going to be going in with fists only. Now, at the time I'm making this video, people are saying that you can actually put a weapon inside of your backpack in the backpack slot and it will count. I don't know if this is something that's going to get fixed. I don't know if it's going to be fixed by the time you're watching this video, but it looks like you guys can get around the infill solo without any weapons and still have a weapon by just putting it in the backpack. But once you guys have taken off your guns, you guys are then going to want to infill. Once you get in and load into the match, part 1 will be complete. Part 2 is asking us to kill 3 operators in the same deployment. Now, my recommendation for this entire mission is to actually, once you get in and you have no weapons, because you don't have a ton to lose, is to make a beeline towards an enemy team. The reason you're going to want to do this is you're going to want to make the attempt in order to make this mission as easy as possible to join an enemy team. That way you guys will have teammates available. Now, it does say you have to infill solo, but it's not going to tell you to extract after not joining any teams, so it doesn't hurt you to get some teammates, making this substantially easier. But I definitely recommend getting to the closest team, trying to join up with them. Hopefully you are successful, and then you guys will have some teammates to work through this. Then all you're going to need to do is eliminate 3 enemy operators. Now, the great thing here, especially if you're somebody who struggles to get eliminations, is any eliminations that your team gets, likely if you're obviously a solo and you join another squad, there should be at least 4 of you. Any 4 of you can get any of the eliminations and they will all count towards your progress. So in my circumstance, I think I only end up getting 1 or 2 eliminations. But across my teammates, we were able to get all of them. And obviously all 3 eliminations were able to be counted. If you guys are struggling to find opponents, you guys can obviously hit UAV towers, try to buy UAVs, go and find a kill squad contract. You guys can even camp at an exfil if that's what you would like to do. Regardless, you guys should run into some enemies. And if you guys are obviously in a team or squad, you guys should be able to eventually get those 3 eliminations that you need. But once you guys are able to get the 3 enemy operator eliminations after spawning in with no weapons solo, you guys will get part 2 complete. Now, part 3 is asking us to extract 150,000 in the same deployment. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more tricky because if you are solo and you run solo and you don't choose to get any teammates, coming across the money will take a majority of the time as you're going to be trying to loot, completing contracts. In my case, I chose to go for the destroy supplies contract, which is actually one of my favorite ways to acquire money because once you plant the bombs explode. They show you the locations of the safes, and the safes can contain high valuable items, streaks, and a ton of money as well. So you guys will be able to get your money pretty quickly just by doing these safes and obviously completing that destroy supplies. However, that is going to take up a majority of the time. And in some circumstances, I was able to get way more than enough money and I wasn't able to find enough players in order to get the second part complete. So once you guys are able to join a squad, hopefully you are able to do so. You're going to want to go do a destroy supplies contract. If you run into any opponents along the way, you guys are going to obviously want to take them out. I actually ended up in a team that created an entire 6-man, so it made it substantially easier. We went to the destroy supplies contract. We blew those up. We each basically went to different safes. I was able to hit up 2 safes. They hit up 2 or 3 safes. We were able to actually get the money substantially faster. And obviously we had the money with way more than enough time to look for the elimination. Basically, once we got a hold of the 150,000 by doing this method, and honestly, killing enemies can give you the money as well, but you can never be certain how much they're going to have. So you don't want to rely on eliminating opponents and having them get you the money that you need. But it's definitely worth doing the contracts, doing the safes, whatever you can to actually acquire the money itself, and then look for the extra eliminations that you need at that point. Definitely for this mission, though, it is a double-edged sword. There's going to be times where you run across 3 enemies and it just takes up too much time getting into that engagement. Even if you eliminate them, you may not have enough time to gather all the money that you need. You may end up with the 3 eliminations and then short on the money. There's also a scenario where I was able to get way more than enough money, like I said, and wasn't able to find the eliminations, which can also be a struggle. So this is where getting into a team can be extremely helpful. I do think it's possible to do this mission, especially infill solo and joining a squad and having them get the eliminations, and you just basically having to gather up money the entire time without you even eliminating anybody. So I think with this method, this mission is very doable to majority of players. And over time, if you guys give this enough opportunities, you guys should be able to get this complete. Once you guys are able to exfil with 150k after getting the 3 eliminations and infilling solo, this mission will be complete. Next up, we have Decryption. This one is going to be one part. It's asking us to extract hand-encrypted hard drives from Building 21. Now, these are going to be extremely common in Building 21, and my recommendation is once you infill to go to the main floor, or the second floor is based on these stairs, and you guys are going to want to look in the fitness room, as there are lockers in here that can contain the encrypted hard drives, and there is multiple offices or computer lab type scenario rooms where you guys can go in there and look in all these computers. More than likely, you're going to come across quite a few of these, as they're not extremely rare in Building 21. And then once you guys are able to get a hold of quite a few of them, you might want to consider exfilling, especially if you have 5 of them. I want to go to that nearest exfil as soon as it pops up, which you obviously will have to wait for, and exfil with them, and then go back in and give it another round. Don't want to push it too far. Don't try to get all 10 in a single run, because that could be risky and lead you to just getting eliminated, having to still extract 10 in the future. But regardless, once you guys are able to get these in your possession, which you will be able to just by looting on that main floor and all the computers you can find, you guys will then want to exfil 10 of these. Once you do so, this mission will be complete. All right, next up we have the Pound. This one is going to be a one-parter, and it is a little bit more on the challenging end. It's asking us to extract with a backpack full of dog tags. Now, based on the size of your backpack, actually determines how much more difficult this mission will be. If you have a large backpack, you're going to need a full backpack of 9 tags in order for this to count. Let's say maybe you just recently died and you are on a rebound run, you are sitting on a 0 backpack or a small backpack, whatever you want to refer to it as. You will then only have 5 slots, and we'll only have to fill up 5 of those with those dog tags. So it is best to do it without a backpack equipped. I definitely recommend to make sure you guys go in without a backpack, not to pick one up in the run and make the challenge more difficult than it needs to be. Now, the good thing here is you will only need a hold of 5 tags. I think one of the best ways to do it is if you can get lucky enough to third party during a scenario where 2 teams are fighting. Maybe you guys are able to finish off the second team that wins that first fight, and then maybe there is a whole series of tags for you to collect that you didn't even have to eliminate opponents for, alongside the ones that you will eliminate. So the real trick here is you're going to need to wipe out at least 1 team, but it is important to note that if you come across bags at any point during the match, you open them and they have dog tags, these will count. So realistically, you could eliminate 1 player, that player be sitting on 5 dog tags, or 4 dog tags. You could then grab those dog tags out of their backpack, place them in yours, grab their dog tag, putting you at 5 total dog tags in your backpack. Then you'd be able to actually exfil and complete your mission. But I think if you're struggling with this, it definitely couldn't hurt to try to build a bigger squad in the match. That way you guys can go around trying to complete those squads or hitting those UAV towers, whatever you can do to put people on the map in order to better know their locations, put you at the best advantage possible. That way you guys can eliminate some enemies and get those dog tags. I think if you're willing to let your teammates know what mission you're working on, especially even if you're playing with randoms, some people will always be willing to go and hunt other squads, so you might be in luck. But either way, once you guys are able to get the backpack full of dog tags, you're then going to want to exfil safely. I recommend, again, the rescue hostage contract, allowing you to sneak off the map, and who knows, maybe you guys leave an enemy alive that is from one of the teams you have the dog tag of. They're going to know exactly where you are anyway. So you guys are going to want to sneak off the map with the backpack full of dog tags. Again, recommending only the small backpack, that way you only need 5. This mission will be complete. Next up, we have Termination. This one is going to be a one-parter, but it is taking us back over to Building 21, so you guys will have to wait for the weekend, have an access card, and to be able to go into this location. Now, it's asking us to kill the Wilson in Building 21 within 45 seconds after LP-Con Charlie. So essentially what this means is LP-Con Charlie takes place after the 3rd floor is able to be unlocked, or once all of the locks on Building 21 have been deactivated. Now, I believe this happens around 4 minutes into the match, so at the 11-minute mark is when you'll be able to unlock that top floor. You will only have 45 seconds from that point in order to actually take out the Wilson. Now, there's a couple ways you guys can go about taking out the Wilson. DDoS works really well, as it will deactivate it for a short period of time. This thing is deadly. It will shoot you and eliminate you quickly. You guys are going to want to be very cautious while taking on the Wilson. If you guys aren't going to take the DDoS approach, which obviously deactivates it for a short time, definitely recommend equipping some thermites. Some people have told me getting a hold of a Pila, actually shooting the Pila at it can destroy it in 1 shot. You guys are then going to want to take it on, and I recommend hitting it with the thermites and just firing away with like an LMG. And obviously if you have squad mates with you, they can kind of help in this process. But regardless, you guys are just going to want to make a beeline up to that 3rd floor. Once you guys see around the 12-minute mark, where you'll have basically 60 seconds, then you guys will wait for that door to open. You'll unlock the door. It'll take you to that square, and you guys are going to head straight to the Wilson. Very unlikely that you guys won't be able to find the Wilson. You guys will then stick it with a thermite, shoot at it into oblivion, and once you guys are able to destroy it, which should not take you the full 45 seconds, as long as you get there in time, you guys should be able to destroy it, and this mission will be complete. All right, next up, we have our last and final mission, which is going to be boating and entering. This one is very similar to breaking and entering, which we do over on Al Mazrah, but this one's having us go over to Ashika Island. Now, part 1 is asking us to enter the Ashika Island Waterways Tunnel. So you guys are going to need to enter the waterways. There are 3 main locations to get here. One is in the north where the water plant is essentially, one down south in Port Ashika, and one over on the west near the town center. You're going to want to go to any of these main locations in order to enter the waterways. Now, part 2 is asking us to reroute at least 9 electrical breakers in the waterways within 180 seconds. Now, in order for you to best follow along with the guide, I definitely recommend going to the northern location towards where the water plant is and entering from that side of the waterways, as it'll basically allow you to follow the locations of all of the switches as I go through them. So you guys are going to want to go to that northern end. You guys are going to want to prepare to enter the waterways. And I do want to make note that I do not believe the 3-minute timer starts until you hit that first switch. So if you guys really want to, you guys could clear out the waterways ahead of time. You guys could then actually plan the route and go to find each of the switches ahead. That way you know exactly where you're going and be able to go through and hit them as quickly as possible. Then you're going to want to head over to that northern location where you're going to enter the waterways. Now, it does help a lot to have other players with you. Now, if you do have a full trio, I do recommend 2 people stick to the left side of the waterways and 1 go to the right. It's going to essentially be 4 switches on the right side that they could hit. And I obviously took on the 5 that are on the left, making a total of 9. Now, I do think there is more than 9, but for this specific guide, I'm just going to be showing you 9 of the locations that I found. So left side, 5 switches. Right side, 4 switches. If you have one person stick to the right, they'll be able to hit those. And if you have somebody with you just helping you clear enemies on the left, you guys will be able to hit all those fairly quickly as well. You're going to start heading into the waterways. Not too far into the waterways on the left, you guys will see the first switch. Now, you're going to only want to hit this switch once you're ready to do this, as it will start the timer, and you guys will hear the alarm going off, allowing you to know that the 3 minutes has began. You guys are going to go ahead and hit this first switch. You're going to continue going forward, and on the right-hand side, pretty much across from you, where your other teammate should be, can be a doorway in there. They can enter that door to the right, which is going to be where that second switch is located. You guys will see me kind of aim at my teammate, and you guys will see kind of the switch on the wall. He hits that one, and that is going to be our second switch. Now, at this point, you guys are going to want to move through the waterways pretty steadily, as there isn't going to be another switch on the left side location until roughly after you go up the stairs and down the stairs, which leads you to where the jug and the submarine is. So you guys are going to continue clearing this. You guys are going to go up those stairs. You're going to go down. You're going to clear any enemies that you need to. But once you hit the bottom of those yellow stair sets or this metal stairs there, it's going to be little stairs that go down into the water. You guys are going to basically look down and go down those stairs, and you're going to see on the wall there the third switch location. You guys are going to go ahead and flip that switch there. You guys are then going to go back up the stairs, continuing the path as you were before. You guys are then going to run across a couple of docks. On one of these docks facing that wall there, you guys are going to see the 4th switch location. This is basically in the front of the submarine. You guys will then hit that one and continue following the outside of the submarine towards where that dead drop is. In the corner there, you guys are then going to see on the wall the 5th location of that switch. You guys are going to go ahead and hit that 5th switch there, and you're going to continue following the outskirts of the waterways. Now, on this left side, you're going to continue going to your almost at the exit where you go to Port Ashika. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more in pretty much after you get around the curve there. On the left-hand side, in the little pocket there on the wall, you guys will see the 6th switch. Now, this is all of the switches on the left-hand side, so if your teammate hasn't made it up to that point where you are, you're then going to want to cross the water diagonally. This one's going to be a little bit closer to the exit of Port Ashika than maybe the one that you were just grabbing. Then you're going to go across that water there, grab that switch, and then you're going to be able to make your way towards the location of the western entrance. So you're going to go ahead and make your way towards your teammate. You're going to go almost all the way to where you exit out that west entrance towards the town center. And you guys are going to see a location on the left where another switch is going to be. Now, as I was coming around the curve towards this 8th switch, you guys will see me look at a 9th switch across the waterway, which is at the bottom of the stairs leading into the water. This is actually going to be the final switch that we grab, but I do go up and grab the 8th one there, make my way across the water, and then you guys will see that I look at the last and final switch location there, which is going to be the 9th one. Once you guys are able to make it up the left side, you've hit all 5 of yours, your teammate on the right hits all 4 of theirs, and you guys have managed to hit all the switches, or you just make it all the way up the left side and you backtrack towards your teammate until you've hit all 9 of these locations and you've flipped all of the switches, then you guys will know that part 2 is complete, and it will also mark a marked cache. Now, part 3 is asking us to extract the hard drive from the marked cache. Now, in order to get to this location, we're going to want to get into the water towards the front of the submarine. There's going to be 2 little pipes here, one of which you can actually enter in or swim into. We're going to want to be careful to defuse the traps here. You're going to defuse those, and it's going to lead you into a room. You guys are going to climb up, hop on a couple boxes, allowing you to jump over to another little pool of water where you guys will actually see the marked cache. And you guys are obviously going to want to get over to that marked cache, open it, giving you guys access to the experiment hard drive. Now, once you guys get that in your possession, you guys can finish looting this area, and then you guys are able to open that bunker door and then be able to get out. But the only thing left to do here is exfil safely, so I definitely recommend getting to your nearest exfil. If you can get a rescue hostage contract on Ashika, that's great too, as this is pretty important, as you guys are not going to want to repeat this process. Once you guys are able to exfil safely, this mission will be complete, wrapping up tier 4 of the Crown faction. That's going to wrap things up for today's mission guide. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support in the channel, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.